Welcome back to Franchise. We are going to be scouting and drafting. This is the process. This is how we go about it. I want to give a little bit of this for us. Start by giving special thanks to Fiend Franchise for his process, which I have heavily cribbed from, I should say. And essentially what he does is he finds three scouts. The last scout on your list on the far right is the person who has the highest discovery. He doesn't need anything else. The highest discovery and as cheap as you can get him. Then the other two scouts, you specialize. You specialize in position players first and then pitchers second. So you get highest efficiency possible and highest position player rating possible, and then highest efficiency possible and highest pitcher rating possible, and you do that and you rock with those. And so every single week you're going to scout with the first scout here, and he's going to scout only position players, and then that second scout's going to only scout pitchers, and that last scout is only there to discover new players. Now this is the discover new players thing is actually really quite useful in the draft because you can find players that other teams won't. And I have found since they revised scouting the last couple of years, that has been a huge pickup for us. I find a lot of really good players are left for me when I have scouted them and other guys aren't picking them up. Other teams aren't picking them up. So it is definitely worth it. So what we do when we get started is we set it up. As we said, the first scout is going to take a look at scouting for regular position players. Now I want to take a look at these top five. If we're going to have any generational talents, it would be in the top five. There's one potential Johnny Rangel, but I don't think he's going to be, but I can't really tell. They're either going to be 18 or 19 years old. If you're going to have a generational talent, none of these guys are. So I'm going to take Chauncey Gonzalez with my first one, and then I'm going to scout international pitchers. And I do that for about 5 weeks, and then I'm going to discover international pitchers for 3 weeks. So I can pick up new guys, and as I am discovering them, they'll get scouted by the person who's scouting position. After about 5 weeks, you'll get about 85% done with most of these guys. If they are 18, you will get them completed if they're older. And I find that works great. All right, here we go. Week 2. Look at this. Chauncey Gonzalez is our top prospect now. And David Lakdawala has gone up in our rankings. Earl Britton has gone way down. He was the guy we thought at the beginning of the season was going to be a monster. But our scouts are not as convinced as I was. Now, this is another piece, is that you get a 1% bump for saying that you need that position. So I switch it every single time I change. So I'm scouting a shortstop. I'm going to say we need a shortstop, whether we need one or not. It does help. That little 1% boost to interest is worth it. Especially with a guy like that, I may have to scout him twice. So we're going to keep it up with these other two for this week. Now here we go. Week 3, Jason Kinslow. He's looking like a beast at the top. He is looking to be close to the billing we had him at the beginning. So we're going to keep looking. We're going to keep scouting him, I think. I like how he is progressing. If there's a chance we can get him, that's what we're going to do. I am a huge proponent of trying to get a position player with the top pick if you can. We're picking 8th, so that is not our maybe not in our cards. Earl Britton here, notice his rating is going down even further. He is not looking like the sure thing I thought he was. He was certainly going to be a monster A-rated talent. Now he'll be lucky if he's a B potential. I suspect he might not be the way that he's going down our board. Michael Karnitz looks like a real possibility we should look at. That potential is enormous. You don't see it here, though, which probably means his overall is a little lower than we would like. But you could see it's almost a 30-point gap, and that's about the max you can handle with a highly touted prospect. Andrew Byers, notice he was not ranked, and he is 62 on our list. He might be worth it. Aaron Johns, another one we found. 97, late round pick. He may be worth something. Cletus Smith, another unranked prospect. He's probably, oh, look at that, overall is higher than his potential. He is going to be a bust, unfortunately. So that's, I always stay away from overalls that are higher than potentials. So we can't do that. Anyway, I always look through the NRs. I look for who we scouted to see if there are any new prospects that are worth looking at, and we often do get some. All right, week 4, Jason Kinslow is fully scouted, and he's up to 4 in our rankings. He's gone up. He looks great. We'll be lucky if we can get him. But I mean, even if we already have a shortstop, but you totally draft the high end shortstop prospects whenever they're there. So look at that. Chauncey Gonzalez is there. David Lakdawala is at number 3 in our rankings. He's fully scouted. He looks like he could be a really good player. Look at that. Potential is the low end is 88. I think he may be a pretty special player for us. I don't like I said, I would prefer to get a position player, but I'll take a solid A starting pitcher if I can get him. Looking at these others, there's Darren Hoffman. Let's scout him next. He's number 2 on my personal board, so hopefully he stays. Now we're going to discover pitchers from the international region. All right, next week, Darren Hoffman is looking good. He's going up in our ranking, which means he is likely to be at the higher end of his potential, which is exactly what we're looking for. And we found 4 new prospects. Let's take a look, see if there's anyone that has come in from that. We have Lakdawala has gone up to 2 in our rankings, actually. Michael Karnitz has gone down a little bit, but he looks like a solid choice. Andrew Byers is 58. Earl Britton is he's gone down for us. He's no longer in our consideration. Sean Vargas. So not a lot to work with this time, but let's take a look at Darren Hoffman this week. All right, here we go, week 6, and he's gone up. He's solidified his spot in the top 5. It looks like with us, he's likely my number 2 choice after the top shortstop prospect, but I would love to be able to have him drop to me. Looks like we found 4 pitchers, so we're still finding good pitchers in Discovery. Let's recently scouted. take a look at who's next, at who we should look at. John Sanchez, maybe? He was one of my other look at prospects. We'll switch from first base to second base so we can get that interest boost. And let's take a look at who we scouted, see if there's anyone else that's new. Okay. Now it's time to change this scouting assignment to international. Now, usually I start with international, but this time there were a lot more central prospects than usual. So I do international and central as my two, and I scout those for 5 each. John Sanchez went down. He looks like a bust. Alex Valentine, that's it. He's the next one from the prospects that might drop to me if he is anywhere near what we think he is as a prospect. Let's see, anyone here worth looking at? Unfortunately, not a lot of new options here. But as you can see, as we're getting them scouted, some of these guys are coming up. Dan Poe, look at that. He's a draft rank 108. He's 22 on our list. He's somebody we could steal in the second round and get a solid prospect there. Let's see, Travis Johnson. All right, we're gonna stick with these guys, I think, and move on. So now we're going to switch to infield international and see if we can scout some position players. Week 8, Alex Valentine looking solid. Our initial assessment of him looks to be solid. I don't probably need to continue scouting at this rate, but if he's there, at our pick, we'll take him, I think. Look who we found, a number 1 on our board. Look at that, potential is all blue. Overall potential maybe 81. That's insane. That's who we found. We just found a number 1 pick. We also found Michael Fong too. And Julian Rivas. So let's take a look at this guy, Horacio Marlin. And he's third base. He's exactly what we need. Maybe this is the guy. And if nobody knows him, we might be getting the best player in the draft. That would be crazy. 4 prospects. We're going to keep going at that spot. All right, Horacio Marlin did not stay at number 1. He dropped to 38. He's still a solid B. Look at that overall. At the low end, could be playing next year. He is a solid prospect. He's exactly who the Angels would pick in real life. All right, we didn't find anyone in the infield. Now we're going to switch to outfield to discover. We're going to switch out Horacio Marlin and find somebody else, a different position player here in that first spot. David Lakdawala has moved up to our top spot. We our scouts are really telling us to take a look at this guy at number 1 now on our board. He's got solid velocity, solid stamina. His walks per 9 are really good. That potential is intoxicating. So he might be the guy. I don't know. I again, like I said, I want a position prospect, but I love the idea of the top player on our board being not somebody's top pick. So we may have a shot at him. Dan Poe has cracked the top 10 now. 108 with a rank of 9 for us. He may be a steal as well maybe be able to get him in the second or third round. Rafael Franco, he's the guy. I think we need to scout him. He's got some big league power, and we have to switch out our preference here. Say we need a right fielder, and we'll go with it. And we're going to rock a discovery in outfield international this time. And then we're going to come back week 10. Franco went down. He still looks like a good prospect, I think. That power is really strong, but he moved down our board a little bit. He's probably not a top 8 prospect, and I don't want to reach, I think. So let's see who else we can find. We did find a couple of outfielders. A center fielder, Angel Blanco. He's got solid contact skills, great defender. He's got potentially has good speed. He might be a find, especially getting him in the second round or third round even if we press our luck. That might be the guy. All right, we're going to say we need center field. We had 3 prospects that we found, so let's switch this to central infield. See what we can find. Okay, week 11, Blanco. He dropped in our rankings. His potential is lower than we had hoped. He's probably solid C or low B, but he may be a steal late in the draft. Let's see who else we found. A shortstop, an unranked shortstop. Is that what we found? That's the one. Okay. So let's discover outfield central. And we're going to switch out our pitching now. So we've been doing 5 each time from central and international. Now let's take a look at some specific pitchers. So I like to look at the top because you want to nail your top pick. Yeah, I need to cancel that scouting. Scout prospect. So anyway, yeah, you want to nail your top pick. You do not want to blow it. So I'm going to look at these guys. Dan Poe has gone up to 5. That is really tempting. 5 pitch mix. He could have a really strong arm. We ought to look at this guy. I'm not thrilled with the hits per 9 though. And since we're going to be doing a lot of simming, I need the hits per 9 to be higher than the strikeouts. I love to see that strikeout potential personally, but we need the hits per 9, so he's not ideal. Brian Greer looks like another potential steal. The MLB thinks he's a 4th rounder. We think he's late first. 5 pitch mix that you could definitely work with. Big fan of the slider, changeup, fastball combination. So he would be an outstanding pickup for us. I would love for him to drop into the second round. So anyway, let's look at the top. Estevan Ruiz. He's the top-rated starter. We have him 4th on our board. So Johnny Rangel, he's the guy he has a little bit of potential to be a generational prospect. He's in the top 5 of the MLB ranks. He's 18 or 19. He's 19. I don't know if there are any details that you can look at to see, like you can with hitters. Hitters, you can tell the generational prospects because you have to look at their vision and plate discipline, and there's a cheat that you can figure out. I hate when they do that, when they have the scouting a prospect and have you do that instead of the pitcher. But yeah, I haven't figured out if there's a tell with generational pitchers. But we'll take a look at Rangel and see if he is worthy of a top spot. Wade Leslie, he might be worth scoping out. Lyle Augustine or Augustin, it depends on which way you want to pronounce it. If he scouts, if he goes up the rankings, he may be worth looking at all. Horacio Marlin, disappointed his dropping down, but he looks like a solid B player. He would be a great second round pick. Freddie Villasmil, Ernest Cedeno. Maybe he's, look at that offensive profile. He may be the guy. He may be the guy to look at. There's also Arden Theophanopoulos. I love that name. Hiroki Maeda. Look at, whoa. Whoa. Look at those numbers. What are the, what's the chance he's at the higher end of this potential profile? At a draft rank of 45, MLB rank of 52. It's not likely, but it's not impossible. Maybe we have to look at this guy. Arden Theophanopoulos. Say that name 10 times fast. All right, this is who we're rocking with. We've got to switch out our needs. Say we need a first baseman. Kind of looks like we do, even though we've got a first baseman of the future. Didn't find anyone in the outfield. Do I need to switch that? I don't remember. Okay. I think that's it. Week 12, we did find someone in the outfield, but look at what happened to Arden Theophanopoulos. I so wanted him to be good, but he's a bust. Johnny Rangel went down to 17th. His pitch mix is not my favorite. I don't think I'm going to continue scouting him. Walt Heck. Great name. But let's see what we can do. We should look at a different picture. Let's do. Gotta look at Wade Leslie. Maybe he's the guy. Oh, that's right, Lyle Augustine. Ernest Cedeno? I think. Oh, Eldridge Ciccone. He looks good. Ernest Cedeno. I like the distance between the potential and overall with him. There's first base, catcher. Still scoping out what we ought to look for here. Cedeno. That's it. We'll do him. Oh, shoot. Had the wrong guy. Cedeno at position. So we have to switch first to second. Switch out our pitcher. And just take the next guy. I want to make sure, again, I want to make sure the top 10 or so picks are scouted. Teddy Vincent. He looks good. Maybe he'll go up and he would be a steal for us. So we'll rock with him. And let's switch from outfield central to infield. We'll do east. Yeah. All right, confirm. Week 13, we found a couple. Ernest Cedeno is looking solid. He'd be a reach for us, I think. Teddy Vincent did not go up. He went down a hair. Probably not our pick if we can avoid it. But we did find a couple of infield prospects in the East. I like that hits per 9 though. I love high hits per 9 from my pitchers. All right, let's look and see what we found here. Recently scouted Thomas Slaughter at 40 and John Dempsey at 132. Slaughter might be a second round pick for us at second base. It may be a position of relative need. John Dempsey at third, late round flyer kind of player. That gap between potential and overall is 40, so he's, even if he had a potential, I doubt he would get there. Ernest Cedeno still looks like a strong prospect, but I'm going to move on. I want to get a look at Thomas Slaughter to see if he is the guy in the second round. Next pitcher, Jack Leahy. 4-pitch mix, love it. Looks good. Let's rock with this guy, I think. Or should we look second round? Chad Varkett. Looks good. Bryant Myers. No, but Chad Varkett, look at this guy. Ooh, look at that velocity. 4-pitch mix. It's exactly the mix that I like. He's a lefty. Let's do it. Let's do it. And yeah, let's change to outfield for week 13. All right, here we go. Last week, Thomas Slaughter went down a little bit. Varkett went up a little bit. Ooh, his potential's all blue. Slaughter, excellent defender, though that arm is disappointing. But at second, you don't mind it too much. We did discover one outfielder, but look at Varkett, 83 to 93 potential. He is solidly there. I don't know if he'll be around for us in the second round, but he would be an excellent pickup, wouldn't he? Look at that. Hits and walks per 9, excellent. Pitch velocity is fantastic. I could get some swing and miss with him if I played him, but yeah, I like that guy. I do like that guy. Let's see, Billy Bell. Yeah, no, probably not the guy for us. So we have this last time we're not going to see the fruit of our labor until we get to draft day. So this is, but I keep looking. I keep using this last week to try and get any last intel I can get. I do worry about trying to scout an 18-year-old. I sometimes like to get an older player, like a Richie Jones here. I like scouting an older player because you can 100% scout him in 1 week with this kind of, when you're in your 90s, in your efficiency. So you can scout these guys in 1 week and be able to make a really solid decision. That's my preference. But if you've got a guy that you really need to look at, partial scouting is better than nothing often. I forgot I was looking at Gary Gwynn before, but We didn't look at Wade Leslie. He's probably a solid pick here, though he's a high schooler. His potential and overall are only 10 apart. I like him a little bit further so that there's a little bit more development. Makes it more likely that that player actually has that high potential that is worth going after. Haven't scouted Lyle Augustine yet. J.R. Poirier is another solid pick. Ralph Bellinger might be available to us in the second round. I've got a few guys who unfortunately they disappointed in the scouting, so I have found myself a little bit disappointed with that. We're gonna do one more scout. Let's do infield west and roll with it and see if we can find somebody from there. Pitcher. This guy could do both. I didn't do Jack Leahy. I could roll with him. I don't know. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah. Move to center field. There we go. Infield east or west, I mean. All right. I think that's it. All right, here we go. Here is the draft. And I've got my board set. I don't like to put everyone I like on the board, but I like to put the guys I want. Chauncey at the top, Darren Hoffman, number 2 at first base. Love that guy. Jason Kinslow, and then Alex Valentine. So my top 4 are all position players if they're still around. Next, Rafael Franco. I will decide whether to go with him. It feels like a little bit of a reach at 8 for us, even though I really want a position player. But David Locke-Dewala is next. He's number 2 on the team board. And then Estevan Ruiz, Dan Poe, Lee Kuo, Robert Cabrera. So we've got a bunch of pitchers that are next before we finally get down to Lyle Augustine. He's 21 on our board. He ended up looking pretty good. Put Brian Greer above him because he's solid. He looks like a good pitcher. And I really am impressed with him. And I don't really want a defense first center fielder. Wade Leslie looks like a solid player. I am still kind of concerned, but I didn't scout him. But I may have to grab him if he's still around. I might find the reach worth it on a guy with this kind of high potential that unscouted he looks like he could be good. But you end up, sometimes you have to do that. Then Tommy Iverson. Again, some of these guys are at the back end of the round. That guy, maybe Mike Takahashi. He's high on my board. Ernest Cedeno. Eduardo Curran. Look at this guy was 3 on the big board, 30 on ours. He is not nearly as solid a prospect as MLB thinks he is. J.R. Poirier, another defense first center fielder. Chad Varcat. Horacio Marlin. He's that guy who has disappointed us by not being the top player on our board, but he's looks like a solid player. I can anticipate picking in the second round maybe, or maybe in the third round, depending on how the draft falls. And we've got another pitcher, Nino Rodriguez. Connor Altman, he might be worth the reach. Thomas Slaughter, Again, he's one of our guys, so we may be able to grab him a little lower. Alberto Alvarez, another solid-looking, unscouted middle infielder. Gary Gwynn. I like that arm. And when he's a little higher in our ranks than on MLB's, I am always interested, even if I haven't scouted him. Henry Cisneros is in a similar place. That sort of look at that potential, and the distance between the overall is solid. So even if he doesn't show up, Angel Blanco, toward the bottom of our board here, is worth looking at. Earl Britton, the disappointment, the guy I was so high on at the beginning of the season, is looking like a potential bust, as is John Sanchez, another big disappointment for us that neither of these guys will be on our boards, but I wanted to follow them. All right, well, get started. And let's see what we've got. Pick 1 is going to come up here. Let's get started. I think we should just do it. Let's just do it. Pick 1 is going to be Darren Hoffman, the Guardians. They've got Kyle Manzardo, but they're going to take a first baseman #1 overall. First time since Spencer Torkelson, which was a surprise. Chauncey Gonzalez, the best player in the draft. The Reds got another shortstop. They keep getting elite shortstops in the draft. Someone has to stop them. Rockies take Estevan Ruiz, the starting pitcher. Okay. Run on pitchers. Run on pitchers. Let me get that shortstop, please. I want that shortstop. A's, take a pitcher. Take a pitcher. No! Jason Kinslow is off the board. We have one position player. One top 10 position player left. Oh, he's gone. Alex Valentine is gone. So I may have to decide whether to reach for Rafael Franco or take a pitcher. David Lakdawala is my top. Dan Poe is my next one. Oh, they took Eduardo Caron and Jack Leahy. Yeah, I don't like any of these guys down there. And even though I wanted a position player, these guys, I'm telling you, a potential pitcher where we're at, you really can't pass it up. That potential, though, look at that, 89 to 99. I got to. David Lakdawala, there it is. There it is. He's our guy. I think that's it. And I feel a little disappointed, but I feel confident about that one. I feel good about that pick. I think, his hits per 9 is not ideal, but his walks per 9 are elite. His home runs are elite. Rafael Franco. They reached for him. The Pirates did. Lee Kuo went. Oh, that's a guy that we hoped would be around in the second round. Earl Britton, the Tigers, with that incredible pitching staff, have decided to go with Earl Britton. Maybe they saw something we didn't. But I don't think so. We've got excellent scouts. Vincent Lim for the Red Sox. Lyle Augustine going to the Giants. Center fielder. Joe Boyle to the Cubs. Isn't there already a Joe Boyle? I wonder if he throws as hard. Arden Theophanopoulos to the Mariners. Oh man, maybe that last 15% would have told us something different. But that looks like a huge miss for the Mariners. I mean, he still has potentially elite contact, but man. All right, skipping ahead. Tommy Iverson went to pick 26. Wade Leslie went to pick 25. Dan Poe. Oh man, they saw him too. The Phillies got themselves a potential ace at the back end of the first round. Our number 5 prospect. Ernest Cedeno went to the Astros. Robert Cabrera, another starting pitcher, went to the Diamondbacks. Let's go back. And Memphis Warren, a reliever. Oh, here he comes. They always do this, the run on relievers at the back end of the first round. Relievers and closers. I don't scout them. They're often pretty available in trades, so I think I could probably find some myself. Now, skipping ahead to round 2, here is my pick, and everyone I was hoping to get is off the board. Talking about a relief pitcher, here's a lefty. Lots of potential, but I don't like to go with pitchers here, relievers and closers, unless I am confident. So I'm not going to do it. But Brian Greer looks like the pick. Got a couple of starters, but I don't want to get another starting pitcher. Ray Gutierrez, it looks excellent aside from his hits per 9. Nino Rodriguez. I haven't scouted Connor Altman, though he would be a smart one at this place. Bryant Myers here looks good. Thomas Slaughter, though I think I might be able to try and get him next round. Alberto Alvarez, haven't scouted him, and so it's essentially Gary Gwynn. I'm tempted because of that potential, but maybe Horacio Marlin. It's a safe pick. Seems like the smart play here. I didn't go position player in the first round, so I think I got to do it, right? I think I got to do it. Horacio Marlin, Brian Greer. Oh, okay. I'll go Marlin. Here we go. Feel good. Let's do this. Yeah. All right. Compensatory round pick. I've got a few choices. Still have Greer. Still have Gutierrez here. Slaughter. Blanco. So this is one of the benefits of having the scouting is, or discovery, is I've got some players that other teams probably aren't looking at on my board. So there's a gamble, when do you want to take them? Here, this is another position player. I need position players on this team. I need to rebuild this farm system. Greer still has some, that's a big gap between his potential rating and his overall. It's a little bit higher than I want. So I think I'm going to go with Slaughter. He seems like a safer pick for us here. All right, round 3. We've got, again, we don't have a whole lot of players we like at this point. Angel Blanco, Walter Uribe, may be a pretty good pick here. Again, a solid B, I think. A couple years away from the majors. Ray Gutierrez has the highest upside, but I don't like his hits per 9. Blanco out of center field. Potential decent hit tool. Kind of a high floor play. We'll go with him. here in the third. Cletus Smith I'm looking at. But his overall is not high enough. Is too high. Andy Palacios doesn't have enough potential for someone I haven't scouted, but at this point, I'm going to add him to the queue. Michael Fong I'm looking at. Another Blanco. This one's Jared Blanco. I like that potential, but you don't like to see that much gap between overall. Once it gets over 30, I worry about their potential. Oh, I ran out of time. They drafted Gutierrez for me. He's the one I didn't want here. Bad time management. Okay. Fong in this round. Skipping ahead to round 6. I'm tempted to just take a flyer on Adrian Lopez, a left-hander, in hopes that he might be a decent pitcher, likely to be C potential. Lefty, he's got great break, solid velocity. I think he has. I'd rather take a flyer on him than on yet another, weak position player. So there we go. That's the draft. Was not as exciting as I hoped it would be, but it was a decent draft. When you're going with the 8th pick, you can't likely get any of those top 5 elite prospects, but I feel pretty good. Got some high end and some low and some high floor players, so I feel good. All right, let's go in and start signing. You have 2-day gaps between your signings, so you have to figure out how to do it. I like to go after my top pick, and especially if they have a high interest, and try and sign them right away, so I get the bulk of my spending done right away. And then I go after a low interest player. So I'm going to try and sign him first, since he's at 82%. He has a balanced outlook, so we're going to offer him a contract, kind of see what we can do. See, he took the low offer. Love it. He's off the board. Now I don't have to worry about our best player. Now Michael Fong is sitting there at 47%. I need to boost that. He's getting 6% per 2 days by himself, and I don't know enough about what he wants. But if I add another person, so I add a second priority person, it's going to take that 6% and it's going to turn it into 5% and 3%. And that seems to be that's the best use of resources. So running 2 at the same time is the best use of resources that you have. So I go for these 2. I think I'm going to switch these 2. So Thomas Slaughter will actually go first, so that I can see if I can scout a little bit more to see if I can get a sense of which of these 2 see if I can get a sense of what he wants. That's another piece of it. You don't really need to scout it for the ratings, because you're going to see those soon enough. But you want to scout so that you can get a sense of what their interest is. So, do you go 5% with Fong to get him over 50%? I think I'm going to go this other way. Get Slaughter as high as possible and leave Fong in there for a couple of rounds, right? I might even try to see what Slaughter wants right now. But I usually don't. I usually give it a chance. So now he's up 5 more. So Fong's up to 50%. See what he wants. And unknown still. I'm going to try. See if he'll take somewhere in between his demand. Oh, see, got him. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and that worked great for us. So let's see, add another person, get another of these low guys, either Blanco or Lopez, doesn't matter which. And I'm going to do the same thing again. Yeah, let's see. Let's just offer him. Let's see. Let's see. And we'll run with these two and come back in 2 days. All right, now we've got 57, 53. We're getting closer. So what does Blanco want? He's bonus demand. So that one is often an interesting thing when the bonus demand is low compared with position. It may mean you can essentially get him low. Sometimes it works that way, sometimes it doesn't. So we'll probably offer him a contract, and I might do the same thing like I did last time, boost it just a tiny bit, and see if he'll take it. Let's go for it. He took it. So that turned out great for us. So now we've got one more, I think, low interest player. Adrian Lopez, our 6th round flyer selection. And we don't know what he wants. We don't know what either of these guys wants. So we'll let him sit for a week or a couple of days. All right, now we're back. Fong's at 58%. We still don't know, but it may be worth giving it a shot. So we'll boost it in between again. He took it. That was good enough. Lopez will add somebody here. Time for Gutierrez, I think. He was our 4th pick, I think, wasn't it? Or 5th pick. Yeah, we'll leave Adrian Lopez in that first spot. Though he has a balanced and he's at 68%, I might just give it a shot and see what he wants, or we'll wait. We'll wait. Okay, look at that. I think there's a good chance to get both of these guys this time. So we don't know what Lopez wants, but we're going to go for it anyway. Yeah, see, it's already above. Oh, but he declined it. You see that? Above slot, and he still didn't take it. Gutierrez, much more likely to. I'll boost it close to slot. He took it. And then let's bring Horatio Marlin. That's a crazy name. Horatio Marlin. He was our number 2 pick. And we'll just give him a shot at it. Still below slot. Nope, he doesn't take it. So we're going to move on. We still have 4 days, so we still have a couple more chances with these guys. Adrian Lopez, draft position, and Marlin likes bonus demand. Obviously, he didn't take bonus demand last time, but we went above bonus demand, but that's how this works. So we're going to go to above slot. We'll give him an extra 150. He takes it. No problem. Marlin will go closer to slot. Yeah, we'll go over slot. What? Are you kidding me? Did you see how high his interest was? No excuse. No excuse for that. Okay, here we go. He's at 94.79. Let's do 99%. 97%. Come on. All right, here you go. Got him. And that's everybody. And I still had a day to go.
All right, this is our draft class. David Lakdawala, first rounder, 96 potential, 69 overall. He is a stud. He could contribute day one. I'm not thrilled with his hits per 9. That was what I was afraid of. 42 is not okay. You need that over 50. But when you're simming in MLB the Show, the sort of baseline for starting caliber pitchers in MLB the Show is 100 combined between hits and walks per 9. That's your sort of baseline for being able to handle simming in the show. He's at 108 between the two. So I am not worried because his walks per nine are so strong, and his home runs per nine are almost elite already. He's going to keep they're going to get some hits off of him, but it's going to be singles and doubles. He's going to keep it in the yard. He's not going to walk anybody. Uh, he's in line to have a decent whip, which will mean he's going to be a decent pitcher, even with low hits and Ks per nine. The rest of our class, however, this is a huge disappointment. Horacio Marlin, our third baseman, look at that. He had solid B potential, solid B potential, which meant he also had solid 60s overall potential. He was going to be a third baseman we could count on maybe even next year. And he is not. He may become a third baseman we can count on in the future. It's got a decent arm. It's not good enough for third, but it's serviceable, and it's better than what we actually already have on the team. He's got a respectable speed. His bat is several years away from playing. This is a huge disappointment that he turned out this way. He was 100% scouted, and our scouts were just wrong. Thomas Slaughter, 79 overall, or potential 53 overall. This, of course, was within the realm of possibility with him, but I'm disappointed. He's got solid fielding, terrible arm. Maybe that once he develops more arm, we'll let him play second, but he's a liability there at the moment because he can't throw. His accuracy is killer. I mean, 25% accuracy. His bat isn't ready. He's a long-term project. Angel Blanco, another long-term project to become a major league average player. He's got good speed and he'll steal some bases. He's got, again, similarly to the other guys, good fielding, no arm. In center, you can get away with that for a little bit. He's got potential because he's a better hitter than these other two against lefties in particular, and he's got some plate discipline, so he might develop into a pretty decent player. Ray Gutierrez, he was the mistake draft. I didn't intend to draft him. 91 potential, 53 overall at 18. He might get to his potential. You can sort of expect an 18-year-old over the course of his major growth years to be able to get up to 40 points, I think, in growing his overall. But that hits per nine. I don't see him ever becoming the kind of guy I want to use. He also doesn't have enough velocity for me to be excited about him. He's likely to become a strikeout pitcher. He might turn into a great reliever, especially if he can get those walks per nine can progress. But I also could see him being a great trade chip. Michael Fong at shortstop, another big time project, but at 81 potential, 50 overall, 18-year-old. He should get there. I think he has all the opportunity to become a good everyday shortstop or middle infielder. Doesn't have an arm to play third, but he might develop enough arm to stick it short. But I love this profile at second. Left-handed batter. He just needs to see if his bat develops. And this Adrian Lopez. This is why you take a flyer. You see if you can strike gold with somebody, and we didn't get copper. We got what I don't know what's after copper. He might develop into some fringe depth in the minors with a 65 potential. He that's his best chance is to be a minor league filler for us. So at this stage, I'm giving us a C. I'm really disappointed in in our second and third picks in the draft. I really wish they had turned out better. But given the information we had, they looked like solid pickups. I think we were totally fooled on Marlin. Our scouts were wrong. Slaughter, this was in the realm of possibility, and I was just hoping because I wanted another position player. That's on me. So let's see how the rest of the majors did on draft day. Jason Kinslow, oh, that's a beast. 90 potential 70 overall. He could be starting for them right now. Don't love that arm at short. Um, Put him at second to and send him straight into double A, have him work on his arm and power, but his back could play right now in the majors. He's got enough defensive skill that his throws are going to be the liability, but otherwise, I wouldn't want to put him in the majors right now because of his 32 throwing accuracy. But Tommy Francis as a reliever in the bonus round is great. David Young at catcher. This is a beautiful pick, beautiful pick. Oakland scored in this draft. The Mariners, look at this terrible experience that they had. Arden Theophanopoulos, I'm loving that name. I so wish he had turned out to be somebody. He is bust, huge bust. First round, he looked like first round talent. Look at that scouted potential, 87 to 99. Actual potential, 62. Huge bust. Then they couldn't sign Connor Altman. He was one of the guys we were looking at in that same range. Oh my gosh. Terrible draft for them. Terrible draft for the Rangers, who whiffed on their top picks. Atlanta Braves didn't sign 3 of their 6 picks, including their top 2. That is unacceptable. You have to be able to sign your top pick. There's no question about this. Brutal experience for the Braves. Solid draft for the Marlins. Teddy Vincent, 82 potential, but that's 69 overall. He could pitch for them immediately. Victor Geronimo is only a couple of years off. Though those hits per 9 is not good, but look at Teddy Vincent. Jeez. And Pablo Gonzalez, that's a guy to look out for. Incredible arm in right field. Maybe a defensive liability at the moment, but he'll become average. But that arm is fantastic. Grow that bat. He'll be awesome. And Walt Heck, who I love. I absolutely love that name. But he's ready to go. At 18, he is ready to play in the majors. High floor, low ceiling kind of guy, but he's ready to go. The Mets whiffed in the first round on Leonardo Velasquez, but got Rocco Robeson, closer of the future. Though, look at that closer with 490 fastball. Jared Blanco, the other Blanco. I wish we had drafted this guy. Look at him. Alfredo Ramirez, mid 80s potential. Don't love that overall. Same with Barton Julio. But that's a draft. Dan Poe at the top for the Phillies. He turned out to be love the Ks per 9, hate the hits per 9. He's gonna have to spend some time in the minors to bring that up. But that 5 pitch mix, that strikes per 9, you would love to play with this guy. As you don't want to sim him, you want to play him. Lee Kuo, the Nationals nailed their top pick. Look at that, 93 potential, 65 overall. He'll be ready next year, the year after, to pitch for them. His combined hits per and walks per nine will be is satisfactory. Ks per nine is terrible, but for simming purposes, he would be fantastic. I'll trade him for for my A potential guy. I don't think they'll take it. Richie Jones turned out to be a solid pick there for them as well, but they didn't sign J.R. Frisch, and that you can't. These guys, these top two guys, you have no excuse not to sign. Joe Boyle, the other Joe Boyle, he's a solid pickup. Ryan Lane, who knows? Darren Almquist at catcher, lots of potential. Questionable whether he can get there, but total project. Chauncey Gonzalez, the rich get richer at in Cincinnati at shortstop. Pretty soon they're going to be like the Padres, where all they have are shortstops. He's major league ready right now, day one. I'm not even worried about the accuracy of his arm because he's got a strong enough arm to play. His defense is there. His running is there. His hitting is there. His contact skills, all of it is there. The only thing he needs to work on is power, and that durability is frightening. But that guy right there is a stud. The rest of these guys are fine. Oh my gosh, he's at 39 overall. That is unreal. Daniel Perigo. That's what a 39 overall looks like. And look at his best skill is his arm. His arm at base running aggressiveness, and he's a first baseman. What is his deal? Why is he like that? Johnny Rangel. It's probably Rangel. This guy, he was the only chance we had a generational prospect in this draft. He is not, clearly. Look at this. Glad we didn't draft him. Luis Rodriguez, closer. Those are their, but they had a decent draft. They had all those picks and a decent draft. Rafael Franco, not a bust, but was a reach at 9. We picked 8. They picked right after us. They drafted him 9th, and that would have been a reach. But Chad Varquette, however, they made up for it later on in the first round with that guy. Solid draft after that with a couple of good pitchers, a couple of guys that are reaches there. Jack Leahy, 91 overall, 63 overall, 91 potential. Great first round pick. Brian Greer, great second round pick, though his overall is disappointing. But he'll get there. He's just a developmental prospect. The Diamondbacks had a good draft. Look at this. 88 overall. I keep doing that. 88 potential, 65 overall. Starting pitching, high schooler. He's an international prospect out of Venezuela. Larry Hafey, closer. That's solid. You love this kind of top of the draft. They went very reliever heavy. The only one that they didn't get was Nicky Franco. But look at these other guys at relief pitcher. They'll be playing. Maxwell Myers, 95 overall in the 5th round. 51 overall, 95 potential. He can run. That's all he can do. I mean, he's a pretty good fielder. He has no arm. Move him to left field. But this guy, he's probably not going to get there because he's 22. He's probably not going to meet his potential. And then Aaron Johns, I didn't want to pick him because I did not like his hits per 9, walks per 9, and his overall was going to be too low, and it is. But, last pick of the draft, that's what you get. Estevan Ruiz, he dropped a little bit, but he ended up turning out to be a solid top first-round pick. Rico Torres as a closer, same. Tyler Ward, the other Tyler Ward, same. This is a great start to a draft. The rest, not so good, but the Rockies nailed their first 3 picks. Good for them. The Dodgers didn't sign their first-round pick, Mike Takahashi, then whiffed. 49s overall for these guys, 47. D potential. Dodgers blew this entire draft. That is unbelievable. The rich just got poorer. Padres did not. Wade Leslie. We were looking at this guy. He did not turn out. Um, Batter. He can hit. I like that hitting and that speed can play near the top of your order. The power isn't there, but that's not why you use him. You're using him for his contact ability. He's going to get on base a lot, but at 70, he's not going to grow too much more. Doug Strider and Patrick full of love. There are only other ones here. Oh my gosh, the Padres terrible draft. Lyle Augustine. This is the guy I'm really interested to seeing. Major league ready, major league ready defense. Can't hit the ball. This is exactly what you expect from him. But you put him in Double A right now. You let him play there for a year or two. By the time he's 23, his contact, vision, discipline, his vision discipline will be 40s, upper 40s. His contact will be, into your 50s, and then you rock and roll. You bring him up and you see if he can get anywhere a 250 average, because that's all you're going to need from him, because he's just going to be stellar defense, Gold Gloves every season for him. Richie Varela, wow, that's a guy. I would draft him and move him to third. He's got a fantastic arm. He's going to develop some power. He looks like prototypical third baseman out of Cuba. This is a great opportunity for them. Love that guy. Love that guy. The Orioles got another A prospect in their first round with Hiroki Maeda, a first baseman. The next, we'll see if he's got an arm. He might have an arm enough to play third even. He's going to clog up the base paths. He's there to hit. Frank Bingham as a reliever project, not a good second pick, but Michael Karnitz, great pick. He's a couple of years away from usable, but love that case per nine. Love to use him. The Red Sox whiffed at the top of the draft, but nailed the bottom with these guys. Chris Lopez, catcher, prototypical catcher. Maybe can never hit righties, but he's going to get some power. Carlos Feliciano, he's going to develop and move him to left field, though he's satisfactory in right. He needs more arm, but maybe he'll hit. Robin Herzog at third, big time project. That's hilarious. Yankees, middling draft, but that Tommy Iverson did not pan out. I thought he might be potentially good. Love that he's got elite velocity, but disappointing pick. The Rays didn't sign. That's disappointing. But Gary Gwynn, I had a feeling about this guy at short. Wish I had looked at him longer. Love that arm. He's going to be so good. Love that arm. He needs to learn how to hit, but so much potential there. The Blue Jays whiffed. Look at this. Unacceptable. Totally unacceptable. Jess Moore, a project at first base. 79 contact versus righties. 64 discipline. He's going to be getting on base. He's like Nolan Shanwell. Love that vision too. This guy could turn into something. He keeps hitting like that. His overall will improve enough. Keep him down, keep him in the low minors for a season or two until he can get some confidence. But by the time he's 24, 25, he's ready. He'll be ready. Alex Valentine looks. Oh, that's top of the draft catcher right there. High B. He plays well. If he can hit, that potential might turn into an A potential if he hits. The rest of the draft is forgettable for them. Darren Hoffman, he's my guy. 91, potential 70 overall. Don't know why Cleveland took him, but because they already have Manzardo, but stud, stud, stud. Don't love him first pick in the draft, but love him in the top 2 or 3. Wish he had fallen to 8. Ton Kramer, closing pitcher. Oh my gosh, 86 miles an hour on his fastball. B potential closer with an 86 mile an hour fastball. I love when the show does this. It's insane. Why would a closer have an 86 mile an hour fastball? I mean, it's a two-seamer. That means he would have an 88, a four-seamer. This is laughable. But look at his hits per nine and his walks per nine. This guy could pitch in the majors right now with those oh my gosh, with those ratings. But he has an 86 fastball. That is stupid. So beyond stupid. Tigers. Here was the guy I looked at the beginning, Earl Britton. We loved this guy at the beginning, but he's a bust. He is a bust, and I'm so sad. Elite velocity, elite break. This guy could have been a contender. Such a stud, lefty, drooling over what this guy should be and isn't going to be. The fact is, though, with that kind of break and those kind of stats, I mean those ratings, I bet you could play with this guy. I bet you could run him out there on your team. You could play with him, and he would be amazing. They don't sign their second pick, Juan Zuniga. Henry Cisneros. He's the guy I wanted to fall to me. I should have picked him if I had. I don't remember if I had the chance to pick him in the third round, and took Slaughter instead, and should have picked this guy. The Royals had a solid, if not spectacular, it's not a spectacular draft, but it's a solid draft for them. Eduardo Curran was a top 5 pick at the top of the season. At the beginning of the season, it fell for us. He ended up being 30th on our draft board, but this is why his potential was not there. But he's a solid middle of the rotation starter. DJ Richards going to be potentially elite closer. Great pickup for them. Thomas Crawford at the top is a disappointment for the Twins. Weak draft for them. The Astros rocked it at the top. Ernest Cedeno, 73 overall, 89 potential. He could start right now. Put him out there. I mean, I wouldn't, but put him in the high minors to start. See if he can play. Bring him up end of his age 19 season, and he'll be a stud for you. They whiffed the next 2 picks, but John Dempsey is a project. I wouldn't like it. His overall is not. I mean, I would if I'd taken him, but he's not who I would want here. So there we go. That's our draft. I gave my initial grade of a C. Looking at the other teams, I don't think anyone else outdid us, actually. So I think my grade's a bit harsh. There are only a couple of those other teams that I think had potentially better drafts, but honestly, I think this is a B. I'll give myself a B minus, but I think this is a B draft class. Actually, I mean, we've got 6 guys who are all going to replace guys that are in our system already. So we picked up 6 guys out of 7. Our farm system just got a lot better. And I've been bagging on Ray Gutierrez. He may be serviceable even. Who knows? Who knows what we've got in him? Michael Fong. I'm excited to see if this guy can what he projects into. I mean, 81. He's a blank slate at the moment. We'll see if he develops a bat, and these other guys, we'll see if they develop. we'll see what happens. But we nailed the top pick. I said at the beginning, you have to nail the top pick, your first round pick, and we did. And that's honestly that's the first thing you hope for, and we did it. So I think this was solid. I think I feel bad for the Dodgers. And but there we go. This is drafting, and we'll see how these guys shake out. All right, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on this Oakland Angels franchise.